This all sort of started with, for me, with Brexit. Immediately after Brexit, all the economists in the world, I'm an economist, by the way, in case you probably have picked that up. So all the economists got together and said, we just had this referendum and we published all kinds of research as to what we thought the effects of Brexit would be. And nobody paid any attention to us, nobody cared. And that's our fault that nobody listened to us. I think it was a really interesting professional response from that community. And so we all got together at a conference a little bit later just to talk about, could we do a better job of just getting our ideas across to people? There were various different suggestions. People talked about maybe we need to engage more on Twitter. People talked about using less jargon, fewer technical terms, all of which I think is perfectly sensible. The point I made was that we need to do a better job of awakening curiosity. If you think about the really great science communicators, you think about Hannah Fry, Carl Sagan, David Attenborough, they don't get their ideas across by speaking slowly and clearly and avoiding jargon. I mean, they do speak slowly and clearly and avoid jargon, but that's not the magic. The magic is they're conveying the fact that the world is an amazing place. And wouldn't you like to know more about it? And I can help you understand how amazing the world is. And that, I argued, was missing in a lot of economics. And there was no reason why it had to be missing, because in fact, the economy is an amazing place. All of the jobs that people do, all of the interactions, the power relationships, the fact that some people are so rich, some people are so poor, the process of economic growth where people rise out of crushing poverty to build these amazing civilizations, the interactions of the financial system, what happens when you flash your credit card across a contactless payment system, how does that even begin to work? All of these things. There's so much wonder out there. We just need to get people interested in the details. We need to awaken people's sense of curiosity. And then I discovered the psychological evidence on curiosity is that it is one of the very few things that serves as an antidote to this political partisanship that poisons so much of our discussion in politics, in media. So often people are just keen to reject out of hand anything that doesn't fit their preconceptions, to believe really crazy things and to disbelieve things that are quite obviously true. And yet curiosity helps to dissolve that sort of very corrosive partisanship. Really interesting research done by political scientists at Yale called Dan Kahan that I describe in the book. But simply that being keen to ask questions, being curious about the world, not only motivates you to go deeper, to look for context, to do all of the things that I advise in my book, but also makes you less defensive about these political arguments. When you're confronted with something that seems surprising, your response is not, that can't be true, that's fake news. Your response is, oh, interesting. I'd like to find out more. All of you, every day in your classes, are trying to awaken the sense of curiosity in your students. I know, so you don't need me to tell you, but I'm going to tell you anyway. This is incredibly important. If we can get people wanting to know more, we can get people thinking, oh, that's so interesting, there must be so much else going on underneath the surface. Tell me more, explain to me. If we can get people in that mode of thinking, all kinds of amazing things follow from that. So all the advice that I've given, both in the book and in the last hour, about trying to be calm and think clearly, not get carried away by your emotional reaction, not get distracted by a super flashy graphic and not check the footnotes, not get carried away by something that seems to have this really resonant political salience, to ask yourself how the number compares with other numbers, to put it into context, to use landmarks, to help you sort of say, oh, it's a big number, it's a small number. All of that follows naturally from having this spirit of curiosity that simply says, the world is really interesting and I'd like to understand it. So thanks to all of you for the work you do in awakening curiosity in your students. And thanks for joining me on a Saturday morning and your wonderful questions. I really appreciate it.